Damn government. They're trying to take
dude, I tell you, I swear to God, bro, I tested it 10 times. It was perfect. All of a sudden, what happened?
Yeah, who knows? Either way, it is Tuesday. I just walked in from work. I know AJ is busy. Eric, you're busy. Man, let's talk about boxing. It's Tuesday, September the 14th. Welcome to Enter the Ring Live with Mighty Mike,
AJ Rage,
and Eric the Red.
Good God. Why? You know what? It's 2021. Why does technology still suck?
It's the people that are in charge, bro. I hate to say it, bro, but because
I feel like there's like some kind of weird delay going on too with our audio and video.
I don't know, man. I'm so over it, man. Honestly, I hate to say it. I'm probably gonna get a strike against us, but I just got to get away from YouTube. I got to get away from this whole format. You know,
we can go to Rumble.
Yeah, but I don't know how many people like boxing over there.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, if we're like one of the first in that arena with Rumble, I mean, it might actually be good.
You never know.
Hey, it's worth the test. It's worth the test. A test run. I mean, what do we got to lose at this point?
Most valued employees.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
All right, let's get to boxing now. Okay,
right,
it is Tuesday. Okay, slow weekend of fights. I mean, there was a couple of fights that took place. I mean, I don't know if you guys even want to talk about what was it on Triller, the debacle between Evander Holyfield and Beaufort.
I'm the only thing that I think is worth mentioning, and I'm really, really disappointed in the outcome, and that was Andy Vences losing his fight. I think
I like Andy Vences, but he's done. He's lost some. He's done. He's something about the kid. He was in a fight a couple of years ago. I can't remember who he fought. I remember there was a fight.
He fought against the kid Lopez that beat Flores Jr.
So yeah, it was a fight where he took a lot of punishment, and they probably should have stopped at his corner, should have saved him from himself. Didn't, and I just think he hasn't recovered since then. He just hasn't been the same fighter.
Well, that type of fight will actually take it out of you. You know what I mean? That'll just that'll take it 5 steps back.
Yep.
Well,
exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's going to be the result that's going to happen with Flores Jr. I think we're gonna. I think, but we could talk about that now if you want to.
Yeah, because did we talk about that? No, because okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about those fights took place on Friday. That's right. They took place Friday evening.
I loved it. Quite honestly, I loved it.
I got to be honest. I mean, I'm not shocked one bit that kid got his ass beat.
But you know what? His big mouth and his big attitude and everybody talking him up, and then he gets in the ring with an actual fighter that whooped him handedly. It was beautiful.
Yeah, AJ, you and I talked about it on the phone. You had some good takes about his father. I know the first thing that comes to mind is people say, well, he needs a better trainer or whatever. But you said something pretty poignant when you talked about what he needs to be before he even a trainer. And you compared him to Angel Garcia because you said is for as mouthy as boisterous as Angel can be, there's something he's always first. And what is that?
That's a father.
He's a father first, a trainer second.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the big issue in it. And I was really disappointed that the commentating team over at Top Rank, especially Tim Bradley and Andre Ward, which it doesn't surprise me, who tend to point out anybody's inconsistencies and their shortcomings, didn't point that out for some reason. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that
he's a top ranked fighter.
Andre Ward's an advisor for Flores Jr. That's why he couldn't call the fight, which I think is another, conflicting situation. But I mean, as a father myself, there's no doubt when you see, I mean, Tim Bradley said one thing during that. I'm
hearing feedback. I'm hearing echoing going on.
Sorry, is that coming from me? Maybe.
Is there people talking behind you?
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
I got a lot of people talking behind me.
Okay, that's probably what it is.
Getting
I'm
back
sorry,
guys.
No
that's all right.
Getting back what I was saying was that Tim Bradley made a comment that this isn't for a championship. This isn't a career-defining victory. This is a step on the way up. So sometimes you got to lick your wounds and come back and fight another day. And his dad should have saw that long before it got to even where it was at.
Yep, I agree.
I think another thing is that I wanted to cover on that was the post-fight interview. To hear the father out there making excuses for the son, saying that he was raped, you heard Timothy Bradley also saying something about him being weight drained. saying how he got tired in the fourth, saying how he was never hurt.
He just got outclassed.
Basically, what you're doing is you're teaching your son the wrong things. You're showing him that it's okay to find a scapegoat when you have a bad outing instead of just fess it up and say, okay, this is how I got to go and fix it. Because now he's not going to fix it.
Yep.
He's going to go down the same road Deontay Wilder did, be in full denial, make the same mistakes, and suffer another defeat.
Here's what it comes down to, brother. And this is, I don't care if this ruffles feathers, but the young man, Gabriel Flores, is a very low character individual because he comes from a very low character family. I don't care who I offend when I say it. He doesn't, like you said, it takes a man to admit your shortcomings. And on the night, he should have been more complimentary to his opponent. But instead, like you said, wants to make excuses, blame this, blame that. The bottom line is he has low moral fiber. And I'm not going to say he's done in boxing because he will fight again. But I can guarantee you this right here, right now. This kid will never make any waves in boxing. No. He will never be more than a regional fighter. He never was that good to begin with. He was a hype job whose personal interest story was more compelling than his actual boxing ability. All I kept hearing about was his mom, and God rest her soul, whatever. I'm not here to disparage anybody's loved one who's passed on. But at some point, it's like, okay, well, we've read that chapter before. Okay, this kid is now 20 fights in. Can we talk about something other than his mom, who got murdered in some kind of a gang turf war somewhere up in NorCal? You know what I mean?
I think quite honestly, he'll be lucky to be a gatekeeper someday. You know what I mean?
But to even get to a gatekeeper status, you would at least you got to beat some people. You got to maybe be a former world champion.
5 years down the line, he might actually do something.
I don't even think he'll even reach gatekeeper status.
No. I've never been impressed with Gabe Flores Jr. since day one. And his character, his horrible. His antics just create more of that hatred stigma that I have for him. He did something in the lead up going to the fight when they was doing a press interview with Lopez. And at one point he actually gestured like a gun to Lopez, like, I'm going to shoot you. And I thought to myself, this is a guy who's always talking about how his mom got shot, but you're going to do this to another man. So that just shows you his mentality.
Like you said, bro, low moral fiber, not even low class, zero class.
Going back into the gym and trying to correct the mistakes physically, technically, is not going to do it. His dad needs to pull him aside and say, listen, we need to start back from square one here in your mind. But the problem is dad's no better. His dad's no better. He's calling his son bro during the fight. So I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
But, I understand that, you got to separate business and your personal issues, but that's your son, man.
Yeah.
At some point you should have got down and really got personal and said, listen, son, I don't want you to get hurt. Tonight's not our night. You can do it, but if you can't do it, I'm going to stop it. And as soon as his son got up and actually physically came at his dad aggressively, I would have grabbed him by his goddamn hair and said, sit your ass down, you little punk. What do you think you're doing? Fight's over.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, I think this will honestly probably be the last time we talk and spend this much time on Gabriel Flores Jr. because
I don't even talk. I was happy to see his ass kicked.
Good riddance, man. Good. What is that old saying? Good riddance to bad rubbish. Good riddance.
Yeah, we don't need the guy.
We don't. Let's talk about. I know there was a big fight announcement that just was made that we're definitely going to get to that today. We're going to definitely talk about the big welterweight fight that was made. Eric, we hear. Eric,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just mute it real quick. Just mute it if you can mute your thing real quick. Let's go from a low class individual to a classy individual in Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring's fight with Shakur Stevenson was just signed officially, right? They had the press conference this past week. I mean, we didn't really get to touch on that. I mean, you go from one to the next. You know what I mean? I mean, Jamel Herring is all class.
Yes, he is.
In victory, defeat, it doesn't matter. He's all class. Shakur Stevenson, of course, is playing the bit of the villain role, kind of Floyd Mayweather-esque, like I'm the boisterous bad, not as bad as Gabe Flores. In my opinion.
But he's still part of that club with Teofimo Lopez and all them that still feel that they need to work as hard on their social media and their mouths and they do is on their physical, on their skills.
They try and belittle people.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. I mean, a lot of it is about discipline and upbringing. Jamel Herring, a former veteran, served in the military forces.
Former Marine, right?
Yeah, a former Marine. This is a guy who discipline was a part of his life. So he understands this
We're in
discipline.
the middle of it.
They keep talking about the fact that Herring keeps coming back, reinventing himself. I want to know when that started, because I don't remember Herring having a bad outing in quite a while.
And he did have the one outing where, he didn't quit, but he was kind of looking for a way out. He wasn't having a very good fight. And I'll give him a pass on that one, because he did come back and look phenomenal in his next fight. Let's face it. I firmly thought Carl Frampton was going to win that elusive third world title.
That's the first and only time I've ever truly seen Carl Frampton beaten.
Yeah, and beaten and kind of beaten up and dropped, and hurt multiple times. And
yeah.
And then if you see the size difference, I didn't realize how big Jamal Herring was, but he's a good sized kid. I call him a kid. He's bigger than Shakur. Shakur's going to be the smaller man in the ring that night.
Well, the thing is too that about with Jamal Herring that I really, really like is after the Carl Frampton fight, Jamal Herring was very emotional. Carl Frampton was somebody that he really looked up to.
One of his idols, kind of.
So he was very melancholy, but he was very complimentary. And when he got down on his knees and he was just kind of like almost apologizing to Frampton for what he did. That should be the kind of person that.
Well, it's like when Canelo knocked out Khan, and the minute he hit him, he knew he was done. What did he do? He immediately dropped to his knees because he understands. Hey, listen, this guy was overmatched. I came out here and I did my job, but at the same time, I don't want to wish it. I don't wish any ill will on this man. I don't want this man because Amir Khan was out, and of course, he probably immediately went to his knees and started saying the Lord's Prayer or whatever. But that's the difference, though. There's classy fighters like Canelo and like Jamal Herring and a few others out there, and then we just have this, like you said, AJ, this new crop of just classless mouthpieces.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. So let's get a prediction on that real quick, since we're on this fight right now. Who do you like on that fight, Mike? Shakur and Jamal?
You know what? I think it's going to go the distance, and I think Jamal Herring is going to have to do everything in his power to win every single round convincingly, because there's no way they're going to give him a decision against Shakur Stevenson. There's just no way. I think Shakur Stevenson's going to try to stink the joint out. I think he's going to be maybe aggressive in the first few rounds, but once you realize that Herring's the real guy and he's strong and he's durable, he's just going to stay on the outs. Kind of like what he did against Joet. At no point did he ever put his foot on the gas when he was fighting Joet. Remember when he fought Joet Gonzalez?
No,
he just never really put his foot on the gas. And it's because he has that safety first mentality,
He does.
You're like, I don't know if I want to take a shot in the chin or whatever, So I think Herring's going to have to really go out there and be the aggressor in this fight. He's just going to have to.
Well, Herring's a bigger guy. And if Herring could come out and fight the same way he fought against Carl Frampton, I feel as a more elusive person. Everybody talks about how fleet of foot Shakur Stevens is. It's not that he's fleet of foot. He just said he's got the 1 in, 2 out technique. He comes in with one, he takes 2 steps back. That's all it is.
Yeah, okay? Yeah.
Jamal Herring is smart. If he's smart, he's going to know he's going to cut off the ring and take 1 step up, and Shakur's going to walk right into everything. I think Jamal Herring's a stronger guy. To me, Shakur Stevenson, with the exception to Andre Ward and Timothy Bradley, I don't know anybody else in boxing thinks Shakur Stevenson is a devastating puncher.
No, not at all. In fact, I don't think he really has any power at all.
No, so I think a lot of people are undershooting, are underestimating Jamal Herring. I think Jamal Herring is a live dog. I think he's got the experience. I think he's got the mentality. He's got the toughness. We haven't seen Shakur Stevens in a tough fight, so we don't know what's going to happen.
You're right.
Well, okay, so let me throw my prediction out there. So I think in the 9th round, Herring is going to catch Shakur with something amazing, and I think by the 11th round it'll be over in Herring's favor.
You think so?
I think so.
And Eric, and just so the people out there that go to
He's
Vegas.
Been right.
He's rock solid on his predictions. I'm telling you now, he's rock solid on his predictions. He's best predictor on the show. So I like it. So that's that fight. I know we got some other fights, but this is biting at me, bros. I got to talk about this, man. It's eating me up right now. Big announcement today, dude.
November the 20th. November the 20th at the Michelob Ultra Arena. That must be a new name
for this.
It's a Mandalay Bay sports arena, basically. That's connected to Mandalay Bay.
Give it, Mike.
It's good for us. Terence Crawford defending his WBO title at 147 against Showtime Shawn Porter.
Yes.
The fight is made. It didn't have to go to purse bid. They probably realized, hey, if Eddie Hearn wins this purse bid, we don't want that to happen. So they made the deal happen because more than anything, it's not even just a money thing. It's like they probably had to overspend a little bit because they're not going to let Eddie Hearn come in and steal this fight from him. Bob Arum wasn't going to allow it, and neither was PBC and Al Heyman. They weren't going to allow it. So they somehow were able to put all the BS aside. They made the fight happen. I'm excited for the fight. In my opinion, the first real test for Terence Crawford at 147.
Oh, absolutely. No, this is the first real test in his career.
And I think he fails.
Well, he has yet to really fight a guy who has a resume and the sheer grit, and a guy who's still considered someone in his prime, like a Showtime Sean Porter.
Yeah.
Showtime Sean Porter was one of the commentators on that Trilla thing, whatever, that they had with Evander Holyfield and others. He wasn't drinking or anything like this. It actually wasn't as irritating because 50 Cent was he's so quiet. He just kind of sat there and he was a guest commentator. Yeah, he's a boxing guy, so I could deal with him. You know what I'm saying? He's good, you know. But I mean,
he actually used to be an amateur fighter, I think, or tried. He tried. I mean,
Showtime Sean Porter. I just saw a video with Terence Crawford. Now I know he's just getting in the gym. Showtime looks amazing. He looks in shape. He's ready. You could see it when they talked about the fight, you know, because it hadn't been announced yet. He just lit up. He was like, "Man, I want it to happen." You could see, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I had to pick between the two guys and say who wanted it and who doesn't, I'm gonna lean towards Sean Porter wants this and Terence Crawford doesn't. Because if he could take the easy road, the softer street, you know, the easier door to open, he's gonna do that. He's shown that time and time again. Well, guess what? He has to do something now.
Yeah, when was the last time Crawford fought? How long ago?
He fought against, what was it, Kell Brook? Was it Kell Brook?
Kell Brook, I think it was his last fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a damaged fighter, another damaged fighter.
But how long ago?
I don't know. It was sometime towards the beginning of the year, maybe January, February. So it's been a while.
I'll tell you right now.
It's been a while
about it.
You know, it's funny. We talk about, you know, we had started the broadcast talking about, you know, Gabriel Flores, and then we transitioned into Jamel Herring talking about, you know, classless fighters, classy fighters. Man, Showtime Sean Porter, him and his dad, two additional guys that are a credit to boxing. Sean Porter is a great guy. Kenny Porter, over the last couple of years, there were a couple times where I thought he got a little bit too in front of the camera, you know, but he's kind of flashy. He dresses nice. He's always got a cool hat on, but he's eloquent though. And he doesn't talk trash. He doesn't drop profanity and F-bombs and all that stuff.
The difference is Kenny Porter, when you see him in the corner with his son during a fight, he's a dad. He's a father first. Yeah. He always tells his son, you know, he'll tell him, you know, you see the way he touches him, the way he talks to him. He's like, that's his son. You know, the guy's all class, just like Sean. I love Showtime Sean Porter. I didn't always like his style, but it works. You know what I'm saying? Just to get back, Terence Crawford's last fight was on November of 2020. So
it's been a year. He's been out of the ring a year. Yeah. And since then, Porter fought. Who did Porter fight in his most recent fight?
Porter's last fight was against Sebastian Dafermola on.
And he looked pretty devastating, right?
Yeah, he beat the guy. So the guy was an undefeated guy coming in 22-0. And that was about the same time as. So they've both been out for almost a year.
So they're rested, but you know, Sean Porter stays in the gym in Vegas. He's always in the gym. He's probably already like maybe 8-10 pounds off of weight.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that fight, man.
I'm going to tell you right now what my key is right now is you see a lot of the boxing casuals out there right away. They're jumping on Bud's thing. Like Bud's going to do this. And I even saw a guy go out there and say, Bud's going to make Porter go night again. And I'm like, again, when did he go night?
When did Porter make anybody, Crawford make anybody go night?
I don't know. But you see, that's the delusionary thing, because here's the thing is they don't know. They probably don't even know Showtime Sean Porter is, because he's not a mouthy guy like T-Bud. But here's the thing is about Bud Crawford. He tries to bring this stigma like he's got this rage, like he's this mean guy. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Even though Showtime Sean Porter is a God-fearing man and a well brought up young man, he's got a mean streak in him. He's shown it time and time again. That's a man who went toe to toe and gave Errol Spence the toughest fight of his career. That fight literally could have went Sean Porter's way if you go back and watch it.
Without that little flash knockdown in the 11th, it could have very easily been a win or a draw.
Exactly. Yeah. Not to mention Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia. You know, he lost only to Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know,
And Errol Spence.
And Errol Spence. That's it. He lost to two undefeated world champions. When was the last time T-Bud fought a world champion, a legit 147 pounder?
No, he never has. He never has.
I personally cannot wait to see this fight.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't.
You know what I like is that a lot of these fights that are being made recently, they're actually trying to squeeze these things all in before the end of 2021. I thought, normally a fight like this, they literally could say it could be, January or whatever, but they're trying to squeeze as much in before the end of 2021 as possible. Maybe it's for tax purposes. They need to spend this money that they got on the books. So,
who knows?
The fiscal year, who knows? But I'm happy because we have this fight coming up.
The world's coming next year. So
we have Fury Wilder coming up. We have Kambosos Lopez coming up. These are all fights that are going to take place within the next 6 to 8 weeks. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
And you're good.
It's I mean, not only that, we got Anthony Joshua and
Usyk. That's next weekend. That's a week and a half away.
Yep.
Let's get back on Porter Crawford real quick. I want to ask you early because it's early. We still got we still a little ways from that fight. What are the keys to victory for Sean? How does Sean pull this off?
For Sean Porter, I think his key to victory is be Sean Porter. Do what he's done time and time again to be successful, and that is frustrate your opponent with your aggression. Sean has to be the stronger guy in the ring. He cannot allow T-Bud to dictate the pace and push Sean back. Sean has to be the aggressor. Rough it up. Put Terence Crawford in a position he's never been put in before, where he's roughed up. Because what happens when Sean ruffles the feathers of a fighter, you saw it in Keith Thurman. They kind of forget what they're supposed to do in there. And that is the opportunity. He did the same thing to Errol Spence. That is effective aggressiveness. Just keep that aggression. Be soppy. Be. If Terence is going to try to hit you, Sean, you hit him back 3 times in the back head, whatever it takes. Almost borderline dirty tactics that Sean's done in the past. He's got this football mentality. He'll rush you right into the ring rope like he did against Paulie Malignaggi. He has to. That's his key to it. The other thing is, don't spare the right. Let it go. It's been shown time and time again that Terence Crawford's there to be hit. And the thing is about Terence that's so good about Sean Porter, even though he doesn't look like technically a polished fighter, he's very good at follow-up. He'll throw a right and already have a left hook coming in. So he's always following up with something strong. That's what I think.
Yeah. That's true. I agree. I think it's just got to be constant movement, constant momentum. He can't stop. He can't stop and stay on the end of T-Bud because I think at range, Crawford's a little bit better fighter at range. So he needs to basically stay out of that range. He needs to
if you
crowd him.
Yeah. But if you look at the Errol Spence fight, Errol Spence tried to use that range in the beginning, and Errol Spence abandoned it and went to the toe-to-toe action
because he had to, because Porter forced.
He was getting caught. That's what's going to happen. And there's nobody out there that's going to tell me that Terence Crawford is a more polished and has a better defense than Errol Spence. And if Errol Spence couldn't avoid those wide hooks, what happens to Terence Crawford?
Mm-hmm.
Gets his ass handed to him.
Be an interesting fight, man. I'm excited to see it.
Let's go with early predictions. Anybody want to go?
I know where I'm going.
I think Porter's going to pull it off. I don't really quite know how, but I think he could pull it off as long as the judges are fair and the referee's fair. They, you know what I mean, and they understand, that hey, these are two equally talented guys and two equally deserving guys. Neither one of them needs any favor from judges or referees. Just may the best man win. That's the way I look at it. No fuckery in there that we just continue to keep seeing and seeing and seeing. Like we saw, what did we just watch the other day? Well, no, but we just saw something. Oh, we just saw the Oscar Valdez, the main event, Oscar Valdez against the Conceição, where the referee was just absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, terrible.
So that's a great fight.
Getting back real quick on the Porter Crawford, and then we'll abandon it. One of the things that Porter is going to have to be wary of. I truly believe that if the opportunity arises where there's a clash of heads, T-Bud's going to use this as his advantage to bow out. He doesn't want to get in this war. He knows in the back of his mind. It's like what Sean Porter said when they were talking the one time. He said, you ain't never fought a guy like me before. He's absolutely right. Terence Crawford's never fought. And then Terence Crawford turned back to Sean Porter and was like, well, you never fight a fighter like me. Yes, he has. He's been in there with guys like Keith Thurman. He's been in there with guys like Errol Spence.
And Yordenis Ugas, who just beat Manny Pacquiao.
So He's been in the fights with the big fighters, the marquee fighters, the best in the welterweight division, where Terence is yet to. You got to remember, Terence Crawford just 2 fights ago struggled with an unknown, Kavalukas, and was literally dropped in that fight. So in no way, shape, or form does Kavalukas remind me of Sean Porter.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, he lacks heart. Sean Porter's got a heart the size of Texas.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does Terence Crawford have the heart? If he starts taking that beating, gets dropped, at one point does Terence Crawford say, you know what? It is what it is.
We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. That's for sure.
Yep. I think
it's a good fight for boxing. Is this a pay-per-view fight?
I haven't heard yet.
It warrants pay-per-view. If it is a pay-per-view fight, I'll happily pay to watch that fight, because I'm sure the undercard is going to be stacked. Maybe we can get some top rank versus, PBC, welter and junior welterweight action going on. Maybe some, Chon Cepeda against one of the 140-pound guys on the PBC or whatever, or anybody else that fights for top rank.
I will say this,
scheduled to do something like that or no?
Well, he's training right now. His brother had told me that he's scheduled to fight in October, but nothing's been announced yet. So
yeah, because there was some rumors about him fighting Terence Crawford. But I will say this: if Terence Crawford does pull it out, if he's able to beat Sean Porter and he beats him convincingly, or he just beats him and there's no doubt that he won the fight, then I'm going to eat a little bit of mud. I'm going to say, maybe Terence is a little bit better, a little bit more dedicated, maybe a little bit more talented fighter than I thought he was. And that'll be
and AJ, when you say that, it's not that we want to hate on the guy, but we cannot give credit where credit's not due. You cannot tell me, okay, for example, he unified at 140, right?
Yeah.
The worst opponent that Josh Taylor beat at 140 is better than the best opponent that Bud Crawford beat at 140. And it is what it is. It's the time in the era that he fought at. Josh Taylor fought the much better guys at 140 to unify. Nobody in boxing will dispute that.
No,
because it's fact.
Top breaks commentators, Timothy Bradley and Andre Ward will dispute that. To them, Terence Crawford's better than ice cream on top of a mountain. That's just the way it is. But I mean, the thing is that Terence Crawford, like I said, a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered questions are going to be answered on this night. As long as there's no fuckery, like you said, bro, and it's a straight up fight, and they got a good referee who's not. Now, this is my only worry. Another thing I didn't get a chance to talk about. If they end up bringing in a referee that right away is on Sean about his aggressiveness, his aggressive and his rough tactics, and starts warning him, and
like a Kenny Bayless or somebody who's just known for doing that.
Rhythm. If I'm Sean Porter, here's what I do. And if Kenny Porter ever gets this is what you do. You don't stop. Let him penalize you. Let him disqualify you. Don't stop.
I agree.
I agree.
And he beats you, then you abandon your whole thing. You come back and go, listen, I just fought my fight. I couldn't help it. I had an asshole referee. I didn't know I was fighting 2 guys instead of 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're going to do that, bro. They're looking to do this. They want to make this big fight. But then again, there's been rumors about Terence Crawford being done with boxing. This could be Terence Crawford's swan song. He could end up losing this fight because I don't think Terence really wants Errol Spence. I think that's all bullshit, We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he inadvertently has priced himself out of that fight for the last couple of years, wanting way too much, and when he's not deserving of it.
Exactly.
Just based on resume and who he's fought, and like I said, his best win, in my opinion, still was probably over a blown up 126 pounder in Yuri Gamboa, and that was at 140. That was his best win as far as I'm concerned, and he got rocked multiple times in that fight.
Well, yeah, and if you go back and look at most of Terence Crawford's better victories and stuff, or even opponents, honestly, I think next to Sean Porter, the best opponent he ever faced was Jesse Benavidez. But unfortunately, Jose Benavidez. But unfortunately, it wasn't the Jose Benavidez prior to being shot. It was a Jose Benavidez after being shot.
Yeah,
and he was not the same fighter.
No,
he hadn't fought in a while. And by the 4th round, a fight in which Benavidez, anybody who goes back and watches that fight, Benavidez was dominating that fight. His leg went out on him, and he became a one-legged fighter.
Yeah, he just couldn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that would have been when Benavidez wanted that fight, it would have been a different outcome.
Yep. Yeah. Hey guys, let's jump on another topic right here, because I know we're still a few weeks away. But let's talk about a fight that's going to take place prior to that. And I know there's been a lot of talk, and I want to specifically talk a little bit about one person who's interjecting himself into this equation, and that person being Andre Ward, and his apparently he's working with Caleb Plant. I don't know, he's another set of eyes, or he's not technically his trainer, but he's acting as a auxiliary trainer for this fight to try to defeat Canelo Alvarez. And of course, Caleb Plant will happily take the help. I don't know why, unless Andre Ward's going to teach him how to punch low and get away with it. What do you guys think about that fight? And what do you think about Andre Ward? What is his motivation to do that?
I'll say something. I'll keep real brief because I've been kind of jibber-jawing tonight. So I'll keep it real brief. There's two factors here. Okay. Number one, Andre Ward's doing this because if Caleb Plant is able to pull this astronomical victory, Andre Ward lived vicariously through Caleb Plant. And he's going to say, due to my advice is why he won the fight. Okay. So now he doesn't have to come back. But honestly, on the other side, if Caleb Plant saw exactly what happened to Gabe Flores in his last fight when Andre Ward served as an advisor, I'd steer clear.
Yeah.
The bottom line is Caleb Plant is more mouth than getting out there. You know what I'm saying? He's not a bad fighter. He's not great at one thing. He just is decent at a few things. He never beat a marquee name. He doesn't have a marquee name on his entire resume, even though when he won the title. But we tear down Terence Crawford. Look at Caleb Plant. It's even worse.
Yeah. Especially when he fought Caleb Truax and went the distance with Caleb Truax and just stunk the joint out. And you're talking about a Caleb Truax that's 5 years past retirement, as far as I'm concerned. He's been done a long time. And he's a great guy. I mean, he's a hard-nosed, blue-collar guy, but his best days are so far behind him.
Truax, then the fight after that got blown out. I think it was in one round.
Yeah, one round, got knocked out.
But I mean, the thing is that you emphasize on it, bro. You kind of brought it up about the fact that Plant kind of like rekindling the controversy behind Canelo due to his stablemate Oscar Valdez testing dirty, and kind of bringing up that fire and that pain. You know what I'm saying? He's going to learn a hard lesson. I don't want to get too much in it. I'm excited about the fight because I'm excited to see a unified 165 pounder. Anybody who thinks that Caleb Plant's got a chance in hell, I mean, you never know, but I don't see how he wins it, because if he is a lesser version of Billy Joe Saunders, we all saw what happened to Billy Joe Saunders. There it is.
Billy, I mean, he's going to have some success in the first few rounds because he's rangy and tall. But once Canelo figures him out, which won't take long, because now Canelo has even more motivation. More motivation because he probably looks at Andre Ward and laughs and goes, not only can I buy you 10 times over, one of my fights generated more revenue than 10 of your fights combined. Exactly. Andre Ward is a very jealous individual. Okay.
As I said, he's living vicariously through this fight. That's why he put I will guarantee that Andre Ward's the one that extended the olive leaf to Caleb Plant, not the other way. This is his opportunity to inject himself into this fight in some way or another.
And to do something that he never could do. He never unified at 168 pounds. He never did. And not only that, his best win, in my opinion, his best win on his resume was a non-win over Kovalev. Kovalev should have been the undisputed 175-pound champion, but was robbed that night by Rock Nation, James Prince, everybody involved in that promotion. Everybody from the network to the referee to the judges took that fight from Kovalev because Andre Ward, the American, whatever. But because you're right, though, bro. He's trying to live vicariously through these younger guys, whether it be Shakur, Gabriel Flores, now Caleb. Now he's taking a liking to Caleb.
Like Plant, I said, he has hatred for Canelo Alvarez, for the mere reason.
Jealous.
It didn't work out for Andre Ward. For some reason, Andre Ward thought he was going to be able to go down the same road that Floyd Mayweather did. I'm going to retire undefeated, and everybody's going to look at me like I'm the GOAT. Well, it didn't work out that way.
Nobody cares about Andre Ward.
He didn't make that kind of impact in boxing. He never fought against the guys that he was supposed to fight when he was supposed to fight them. That's what it comes down to. You fight the fighter when you're supposed to fight him, not after the fact or before the fact. And then the biggest win of your career was a non-win. Exactly.
It was a win that you were so shocked when those cards were announced. You looked like you just won the lottery. Yeah, and go back and watch when those cards were announced. All you had to do was look at the look on the faces of a fighter and their trainers after a fight. That's how you know who wins a fight. Be down what the judges say or what the announcers say, or if you're in a pro, whatever side of the, whoever the crowd favors, that doesn't matter. Take a look at the faces. I've seen it on Robert Garcia multiple times. I saw it after the Franco fight against Maloney. You saw it in Andre Ward when he beat Kovalev that first time, or when he stole Kovalev's belts. That's what.
Hey, Eric, I'm interested. What's your take on that fight?
On the Porter fight?
No, on the Canelo Caleb Plant.
Plant. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so I think Plant gets knocked out at the very latest by the 8th round, but I'm thinking the 6th.
It's possible.
You think Canelo's going to catch him, huh? He's going to
I
catch
think
him.
he's
Canelo's
gonna
going to knock him out.
Well, it's only going to take a little
decision.
bit. Quite honestly, I honestly think that he's going to figure him out a little bit. So, okay, so Canelo is getting better every single fight.
That's what I said too.
Okay, every single fight he's getting better. And so he just, destroyed Billy Joe or whatever. Anyway, just destroyed him. And I think it's going to get even better now because now he's facing somebody who's quite honestly not even in the same league.
Oh, Billy Joe beats Caleb Plant. He's got a punch.
Oh yeah, Billy Joe beats Caleb Plant. However,
absolutely.
However, I think Caleb Plant, quite honestly, I think he gets knocked out by the 6th round, at the very latest, the 8th.
6-8. You're very right because, like I said, I think he's going to have some success early, but he does tend to fade mid to late rounds and get tired, and especially when that constant pressure is just going to break him. He's never fought too. So. Yeah, and he's never fought anybody even remote. You talk about Terence Crawford not fighting anybody. Good God, Caleb Plant's best. I mean, obviously he won. He shocked me when he beat Uzcategui, but as you've seen Uzcategui prior to that fight and post fight, he's so mediocre. He just fell into a title opportunity and ended up winning it. But he's just a mediocre fighter.
People could say at 168 pounds, I feel the best to me personally, the best 168 pounder is David Benavidez. But unfortunately, he didn't have a title at the time. The next one in line would have been Callum Smith. Callum Smith, even though he said some things, Canelo carried him. Canelo could have stopped him in those later rounds. Canelo carried him and gave him a little bit of a beating. Unfortunately for Caleb Plant, because of his mouth and because of the scars that he's reopened, Canelo's not going to give him the opportunity that he gave Callum Smith. He's going to punish him, embarrass him, and send him home on a fucking gurney.
Well, and then he's going to take pride in beating Caleb Plant and probably looking across the ring and just smirking at Andre Ward. Yeah.
And, well, on top of that, this is the unification. I mean, this is the one. I mean, so he's going to come at this harder and bigger than he has, quite honestly. And so I quite honestly, I'm going to be, if Plant makes it to 6,
you'll be shocked.
I mean, worst case scenario 8, but 6, I'm thinking 6th round. 6th round, he's
very possible.
With something like it's going to be like that time Pacquiao got hit with that one shot
from Marquez.
Everybody was like freaked out.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be more like when Pacquiao knocked out Ricky Hatton, but Canelo's going to be Pacquiao. This is going to be a miracle. I mean, this isn't going to be I get hurt, I'm against the ropes, I take a beating. This is Canelo is very good at finding that spot. Look at his big knockouts against guys like Amir Khan, Lamont, James Kirkland knows that. He knows those spots. And when he lands that punch, dynamite, man. Dynamite in the bottle, man.
Yeah.
And he knows how to finish, though. That's the beautiful thing. I mean, it only takes one shot. And then that one shot leads to, 8 more that end it. You know what I mean?
Well, and everybody's saying, like I said, with Caleb Plant, I mean, like I said, once again, I'm going to go back again. You look at his last 6 opponents. We got Caleb Truex, we got Vincent Clinton Butts, Mike Lee, who's not even a fighter, Uzcategui, a guy named Redondo Medina, Andrew Hernandez, and Thomas Astrodome. He doesn't have a marketable name. The fact that this guy has a title blows me away.
Yeah, it's actually kind of shocking.
I got a title.
What's that?
Just saying. It's the best barbecue griller on the planet.
But I mean, like I said, I mean, the thing is, like with the situation, but I mean, I think this just after this victory, this opens up some doors and some big possible matchups for Canelo. Canelo's always looking to achieve. I know we talked about it before, and I know that the notion of a guy like Arthur Beterbiev fighting against Canelo Alvarez has always been kind of pushed away. But that notion, if he walks to Caleb Plant, it's starting to look like it's more of a reality because you put something.
I think a fight with Bivol is more realistic. Dimitri Bivol.
But see, the problem with Bivol is he's not a monster. He's not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Canelo doesn't take those roads though. That's not him. He could have done that in any other division. He doesn't take that road. He's gonna be like, why am I gonna waste my time and risk against a guy that if I beat him, everybody's gonna be like, well, you should have beat him. He's not even. He's an undersized light heavyweight. He's this,
he's really regressed in the last couple years.
Yeah, I mean that's not a nothing fight. I think the thing with Beterbiev, don't get me wrong, the guy's a monster, but he's one-dimensional. He's slow and he's chinny. He's so I'm telling you, man, there's a possibility there. Not to say that he won't be the guy that goes in there and knocks out Canelo, because he does have devastating power.
But would you ever see I firmly believe that Andre Ward retired when guys like Bivol, Beterbiev were coming on the scene. He said, I'm gonna tap out now. It's like you're at a club or a night, whatever, and you see somebody that you had beef with and you don't want to get into a beef because you're afraid. You're like, I'm gonna check out early tonight. I'm gonna sneak out the back door. That's what I think he did. I thought he sneaked out the back door because he didn't want nothing to do with those guys.
Feasting on washed up guys like Chad Dawson and John Pascal. That's all he wanted. He wanted the easy road.
And ripping off guys like Kovalev twice.
Yeah. People don't understand, man. Things, a decision like that is career altering, and that was career altering for Kovalev.
Hey guys, let's jump on another topic right here, because this fight's slowly coming up, and you mentioned it earlier, bro. It's going to be here in about 10, 11 days, and that's Anthony Joshua against Alexander Usyk.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that fight? What is your early thoughts on that fight? I mean, it's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stand firm on what I said before. This is a big guy, a big good guy against an amazing little guy. I wish Usyk had more time in the heavyweight and had prepared against some quality guys in the heavyweight division to really properly prepare himself to deal with the sheer mass, strength, and size of a guy like Anthony Joshua. Even though they're not too far away in height, it's just he's the bigger man. He carries 150 pounds and he carries it very well.
250, yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks like he slimmed down a little bit for this fight, Joshua. They said he's slimmer than he's been recently, but slim to him is still 245, 240. That's still a big man.
Yeah, exactly.
240.
But
what is Usyk? 220, 218, 220?
Not even that. I think he's 218 at best.
Soaking wet, huh?
Soaking wet, dude. But I mean, the thing is about with Usyk, don't get me wrong. Usyk is by far probably one of the best cruiserweights of all time. And I'm talking about going back against guys like St. Gordon and
Evander Holyfield,
all these great guys. The guy is absolutely phenomenal. But the problem with Usyk is, I'm going to say it again, it's pride. For some reason, he wants this fight and he wants it really quick, because I understand he's only 34, but the top clock is it's ticking. The fights that he's fought so far in the heavyweight division, beating, pretty much a washed up Derek Chisora, Chaz Witherspoon, who I hadn't seen in the ring in 3.5 years going into that fight. That's not going to prepare you for a guy of Anthony Joshua. And Joshua knows that. Joshua knows, number one thing for me not to lose this fight, I'm not going to let this little man push me around. He could do his boxing, he could do his feinting, he could run around, but at some point he's got to stop. And when he stops, I'm going to make him pay. That's it. It's that simple, man. Because I'm going to tell you right now.
So hold on.
Hold on. Usyk was hurt in both fights, against both Chisora and against Chaz Witherspoon. Not devastatingly hurt, but he was rocked in both fights. And neither one of those fighters are the puncher that Anthony Joshua is.
Yeah.
But do you think Anthony Joshua might be taking this a little bit light?
No, I don't believe so at all. Anthony Joshua, I saw it. He knows Usyk is an amazing fighter that can go in there and just school you for 12 rounds. He's the Vasily Lomachenko of the heavyweight division now. He just doesn't have the size. If he was 240 pounds, Usyk would be the reigning champion for the next 10 years, dude. Easy.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that size. Such a likable guy, man. He's great for boxing, but I don't think it's going to end well for Usyk in this, and I think this will be Usyk's one and final big shot in the heavyweight division. He'll either retire, or I see him going back to the cruiserweight division in which he dominated, and I think he'll step back to that position again.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Usyk.
Oh, that's a crazy bet. That's a crazy bet.
No, I'm just saying, a 12. Hopefully, he's working out really good right now.
Doesn't matter.
But hopefully he can stay away from Anthony Joshua's hard hits. You know what I mean? If he can,
if he couldn't avoid those slow sluggish punches he was getting hit with by Chaz Witherspoon, there's no way he's gonna avoid the punches he got hit with.
Was it Witherspoon or Chisora? I thought it was Chisora.
He fought both of them. He fought Chaz Witherspoon was the first heavyweight he fought.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And Chaz Witherspoon was just garbage, man.
I'm gonna backtrack then. I'm sorry. I'm gonna backtrack.
No,
I'm gonna backtrack then. You know what? Let's just hope for a good fight.
I'm just hoping that gets out of healthy.
Here's what I think. I'm really kind of I really don't even honestly know how to feel about that fight. I really don't. I know everything. My common sense says Joshua's too young, too strong, too big, too skilled for, like you said, the smaller guy. But I don't know. I don't see guys like Usyk and that whole crop of guys from the Ukraine taking fights that they don't think are winnable. And when do those guys ever get dominated in fights? I don't know. It's weird. I think it might be more competitive than we think. And I think Joshua, it's going to be in the UK. So there's no way Usyk gets a decision there, but maybe it's more competitive than we think. I don't know. It's weird. I don't even know how to feel about that. It'd be nice
if it would, because it'd make for a better fight rather than Joshua go in there and blow him out. Because I know if Joshua's people are smart, okay, it's not that Usyk's a slow starter. But he kind of fills people out in the first couple rounds.
Well, he has to, especially at this higher weight. Right?
So that's when you jump on him. As Joshua, there's nothing Usyk's going to throw at you this shit. Now Joshua's a little chinny, but he's chinny against heavyweights.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would take that risk and I would jump on Usyk from round one and go for the knockout.
Let me ask you a question.
Don't give him an opportunity to kind of figure you out.
I know the triangle theory doesn't really work in boxing, but what if Anthony? What if Alexander Usyk fought Andy Reese?
Oh, that's a different story. He beats Andy Reese.
Yeah, I agree.
The reason why he beats Andy Reese because Andy Reese isn't a physical stature kind of guy. He's just a short, fat guy.
And he's there to hit.
And he's there to get hit. The only chance Andy Reese has is catching Usyk with some wild punch. Usyk just boxes the shit. What Chris Arreola did. Box, and just lands all to the point that I'm not going to say knocks out Andy, but makes Andy, because Andy doesn't have a lot of heart. You see, he doesn't have heart. He'll quit on the stool. That's the fight that he should have went after. Now, if he went in there devastatingly and beat Andy Reese, then this kind of bridges that gap, that it gets a little closer. We think, well, maybe Usyk's got a chance because look what he did to Reese, and Joshua couldn't do that, but he didn't do that. You can't gauge his position in the heavyweight division on Chaz Witherspoon and Derek Chisora. You can't do that, But I give him all nothing but props for taking this step. But I honestly think he's handing 0 over to Anthony Joshua. What do
you think? Because you've said this before. You've said before where you thought some fighters purposely look mediocre or don't give it their best so they can entice somebody into taking a fight. Do you think that's possible in play here? Or do you think Usyk was really trying to win those fights convincingly?
Derek Chisora, he was, because you can look at Usyk's face. He was the worst for wear. I don't know any boxer who's going to get out of a fight with their face looking that way at the end of the fight and carry somebody, because Terence Chisora carries legitimate power. The guy got tired. Usyk just didn't have the power to really do anything. I mean, Derek Chisora was basically just gassing out. The only times Usyk really had him in trouble is when Derek Chisora was gassed out, winging these big punches.
Hey, how long ago was
it? It doesn't fair. I mean, like I said, if he went in there and just kind of carried the guy, was sloppy, he didn't take any damage, I can say, yeah, he did that. But no, he took damage, and there was a point where you can see in the corner where his own trainers were telling him, hey, we can't take punches like that.
Yeah.
So, hey, real quick, when was the last fight for both of these guys?
Not that long ago.
Okay.
Usyk's was against Derek Chisora.
Well, Joshua was supposed to fight Member Fury, but that fight got scrapped when Deontay Wilder exercised his rematch clause or whatever.
Yeah, Usyk's last fight was on October 31st of 2020 against Derek Chisora.
Halloween night.
Yeah.
It's almost a year, 11 months ago.
Anthony Joshua's last fight was against Pulvev on 12/12 of 20. So he fought a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so less than a year ago, about 9 months ago. Okay.
Yeah. And I have to admit it, honestly, Joshua looked good in that fight. The best I've seen him. That was a more aggressive Joshua.
Oh, yeah. He looked good. He beat the shit out of Pulev.
Yeah, and Pulev's a big guy. I mean, he beat the hell out of the guy, knocked him out devastatingly.
Knocked him out, right?
Yeah. So, I mean,
fourth round or something, fifth round.
Joshua's getting that confidence back. If he's lost that gun shy shit that happened with him with Andy Reese, this is a different monster coming into this fight. This is a dangerous Joshua.
However, you know what? I mean, there is that he is a little chinny.
Yeah.
If Rui or Josh, or I mean, sorry,
Usyk.
If Andy was able to end him,
No, Andy Reid, in no world does Alexander Usyk possess the power that Andy Reid does. Alexander Usyk is a decent puncher in the cruiserweight division. He is a light puncher in the heavyweight division. At no point has he shown any kind of true power. That's why Mike the Bounty Hunter Jr. has been itching to get a fight with them. You know, he fought at cruiserweight too. I would love that. Would have been a great matchup for Usyk, because the Bounty Hunter is a strong physical guy. He's a guy that filled out more into the heavyweight division. You look at his road to the heavyweight division has been a better one than Usyk. You know, he's fought against guys.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm still learning quite a bit from you guys.
No. Hey, there is no such thing as an unobtainable. Am I right, Mike? The right punch. Hey, a guy like Usyk, if anybody can land the punch perfect in the right spot, like a doctor, and pop that bubble, that Joshua bubble, it's Alexander Usyk. You know, and in my heart, I root for him, man, because I love the guy, man. But it just doesn't. I don't know, man.
All right, so I'm back on the Usyk train here. Let's, like you said, it's going to be in the UK, so the judges aren't going to be there. But you know what? I just want a really good competitive fight. I want them to last, the entire fight, and let's just make it competitive. And
what do you think, Mike? What about you?
Like I said, I have no idea how to feel about it. But you ask if it goes more than 2 rounds, then I'll tell you by the 3rd round. Because honestly, I'm really, really confused by this fight. Which Joshua are we going to get? Is he going to be apprehensive because he knows Usyk's skilled, or is Usyk going to kind of lay back and try to be the counter puncher against the bigger, stronger guy? That won't work. So just I don't know. I'm going to need to see these guys. Maybe as they get closer to the fight, maybe as we see the weigh-in and everything, I'll see how they look. We'll see. Because I know Usyk does have a history fighting heavyweights. He fought Joe Joyce, right, in that Super Series, whatever. Sure, yeah. And Joe Joyce is a big 6'6" guy, just like Joshua, and he won that fight. But I don't know. I really this is probably the most perplexing fight in the last year that I've actually tried to sit and analyze, and I just can't.
No, I just can't. I could see that way too, because you made a great point right there, bro.
Which makes it great. Which makes it, I cannot wait. I'm going to be glued to my TV, get ready to watch that fight. I'm like, what is going to happen here? Is Joshua going to go out and blow him out, or is Usyk going to just pull something out of it like he did against what's his name, the Russian one he unified, Gassiev, Gassiev. Where he just dominated Gassiev. I mean, and Gassiev, I thought was going to land that punch and knock him out. Again, granted, Gassiev
embarrassed the guy. He completely embarrassed the guy.
Gassiev is not Anthony Joshua, because Gassiev's all of about 6'2", where Joshua is what, 6'6",
6'7",
6'7".
But here's the thing. Here's the thing is, it comes down to real simple. This is the simple tactic on both sides. Whoever's the guy that steps forward is going to win the fight. Neither one of these fighters can fight going backwards. Usyk showed it in the fight against Derek Chisora. When he stepped backwards, he took big punches. When he pushed Chisora back and took the risk, he was successful. Joshua doesn't fight well backwards. We know what's happened in the past with Andy Reese, with Vladimir Klitschko. He's had his issues. Even when he fought against what's his name? Dillian White. He's got to be the aggressor coming forward. The guy that presses forward is going to be the guy that's going to be successful, because he's got the other guy guessing. He's dictating the pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, does Alexander Usyk have the strength to push Anthony Joshua back?
Oh,
I don't care if he does or not. He's got to attempt it, though. He's got to get Anthony out of his rhythm. He's got to rough it up. He's got to do things that they don't expect Alexander Usyk to do. Go inside, use angles, do that kind of stuff. Make Anthony guess. Don't stand there and try to get into a boxing match with him, because at the end of the day, Joshua possesses that big, long, rangy right, and he will catch you.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
God, I'm good, dude. I'm just kidding. But so what else we got as far as fights coming up? I mean, obviously we got some great ones coming up. With Usyk is a fight that I know I'm so excited about. I'm also very excited about this
they don't even know this.
Shakur Porter fight coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm trying to think what else. Obviously, I know that they announced the fight between Emmanuel Navarrete and Joet Gonzalez, which I'm not too excited about. It's another situation where Emmanuel Navarrete is feasting on the little guys. So I'm not going to give it a whole lot of press. I think it's a bad decision on part of Joet Gonzalez and his team to even to even, consider that fight, but to take that fight, much less, it's not going to end well for Joel Gonzalez.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing, though. There was something that was said. The guy who beat Gabe Lopez, there's been talks about him possibly being a guy for Emmanuel Navarrete. I'll tell you something right now. That, to me, is a winnable fight, being the fact that this guy has the right style to beat Navarrete. He doesn't take a backward step. He throws his punches at a wide angle, which will that basically he can get his arms on the inside of Navarrete. It would be an interesting matchup. What do you think?
Yeah. Mike? Yeah. I mean, I like Joet, and I just felt Joet. I just think he was perplexed by the speed of Shakur, because Shakur is a fast fighter. I think he's going to be more willing to go in there and stand toe to toe with Navarrete. And like we've seen in Navarrete's last fight, yes, he does hit hard and they come from weird angles.
He's hittable,
but he's hittable. He's very
absolutely
hittable. We'll have to see what kind of power Joet's going to carry when he really lands, because he never landed on Shakur. That's what was so frustrating. Like you can't tell if his power resonated, how good or bad Shakur's chin was, because he never got hit. It was very hard to watch.
Well, I think it was a 10th or 11th round, Shakur did get caught when him and Joet kind of, because I went back and I was watching that fight today, and just for a moment Shakur took this weird step, but he was hurt. Joet does carry power with him. The problem is I don't understand, because Navarrete is such an unorthodox. He just throws these ugly telegraph punches, but they land.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only problem with Joet is Joet has a bad tendency. If he makes the same mistakes he made against Shakur, waiting for the punch, it's going to be a short night.
Yeah, you're right. Because he'll get hit with one of those weird shots. You know what I mean? He's got to get in there. He's got to get in there, and he's got to get some very awkward sparring is what he needs to get. He needs to get guys that just throw punches from all kinds of angles.
No, I'll tell you what he's got to get, bro. He's got to get some balls. For some reason, whatever, Joet went from being a tough guy. If you've ever seen Joet prior to Shakur Stevenson, I was talking to you about how I like this kid Joet. This kid came in with an attitude. He was fiery. He almost reminded me of a little Tony Lopez. All of a sudden, he just became this more defensive-minded guy. And even in his last fight, it was somewhat whatever. He has to go back and he has to say to himself, I could beat this guy. Go in there and fight him. Don't go in there and try to get in a chess match, because neither one of you guys got that kind of ability or that kind of skill. Go in there and fight this guy like a street fight and put him on his back and send him back to Mexico, man.
Yeah.
Yep. But the ones that actually win are the ones that have that mentality that, you know what, I'm not going to be trying to get a decision. I'm not going to be.
Well, that's not Navarrete. That's his mentality, huh, Mike?
Yeah. I'm going to try and knock him out every single time, no matter what. And that's the guy that wins.
I will agree this though, Mike, against Avalos, when Navarrete fought Chris, he did get hurt in that fight. People don't want to say
he did. He even got hurt a couple of times against Dogbe, but
go back and watch his fight against Panchito de Vaca. He got hurt against de Vaca. He took a weird shot. He took an uppercut and a little hook. I'm telling you, he's hittable. He's
very hittable.
But the problem is, for some reason, fighters will do that little bit and then they stop and then they go back to where they are and then they get caught by some weird bolo punch,
Yeah.
But
very true.
What other fights we got coming up, guys? What are we at? What time are we at?
We're at about an hour right now. So
let's
go. I know. Okay. So listen, so what do we got going on this weekend? I know that let's end on this, because they're still searching for an opponent, but it looks like Renee might be fighting Sunday in Bakersfield. I talked to Robert last night. He said that, and that's going to be televised, I think, on Fox Sports or whatever.
I saw that they announced some of the lineup.
Yeah, so there's fights on Saturday and Sunday at the same place in Bakersfield. So either way,
are you going to be able to go?
Yeah. I was thinking of maybe just driving up either Saturday night or Sunday morning early, because you're going somewhere Saturday night, right, AJ? So maybe we just drive up early Sunday. We watch fights and we drive back. What is Bakersfield? A couple hours away?
That's it. Yeah.
Not that far.
Yeah,
so
be careful out there, man. Be careful.
No opponent yet. I mean, I know they're feverishly trying to find an opponent. They've even upped the purse that they're offering to get the kid a fight. And that's been the thing that's held Renee back, is these guys don't want to fight him. There's a lot of guys that just don't want to fight him.
Well, like the one guy that is fighting, the one that's fighting on the thing, he's 10-0, and he's in the same class as Renee. And I was talking to myself, like, dude, that would have been. I'm sure Renee would have.
I'm telling you right now, at 3-0, Renee Morin would have knocked Gabe Flores out in about 3 rounds.
I know.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I've been telling him that since I first saw that kid fight. I said, you'll knock that kid out. That kid's got nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Yep.
No chin, no ability, doesn't know how to avoid punches, no footwork, flat-footed. Oh Lord. But well, that's a whole nother. I don't want to get back on that kid again. We've given him too much time as it is.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
Renee, like I said, as soon as if we get some information on his opponent selection, who they can find, I'll let everybody know. We can maybe post something on there. But either way, though, we'll plan to head out there Sunday early if you want, bro.
Hey, real quick. I was gonna tell you real fast. I saw some old video of Renee, boxing against Laura Serrano.
Yeah, Laura. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when Renee was like 12, 13 years old.
Dude, he was beating the shit out of her, dude.
Dude, that girl is tough.
Hell yes. I was
Dude,
like,
that was some sparring right there, man.
she was trying to, but Renee, he kept doing this punch, and I've seen him do it before. But at one point, he got a little angry because she kind of hit him with this little cheap shot, and it's this one where he just kind of comes in. It's like a quick little almost like an uppercut to the stomach, and then he comes right back like that. It was like a bop bop like that. I was like, oh my god.
He sparred a kid last weekend, and the kid is big lightweight. I mean, about the same height, but just physically stocky. Probably weighed about 145 pounds in the ring. Renee stopped him with a body shot in the 5th round. Boom.
Hey,
the kid's tough though.
Hey, we said it though. Renee, that's the one thing when he was fighting against that kid from Haitian that was tough as nails. You can't hit that, dude. As soon as Renee went to that guy's body, what happened? Renee has to take a little page out of Mugia's thing and don't headhunt so much because he's such a skilled fighter. You know, that balance, man. Look at Canelo Alvarez. You know, Renee Moreno will definitely be a world champion as long as he's given the opportunity. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we've been going a little over an hour now, so I guess we'll go ahead and cut it here. We'll AJ, if we do end up having that fight, if we do end up going to fight in Bakersfield, maybe me and you would just broadcast from there. We'll just go Facebook Live or Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Shit, perfect. Awesome.
You guys
Sundays.
jealous.
That sounds great, bro.
So we'll just drive up early Sunday. We'll drive up to Bakersfield and watch the fights and drive back.
We'll go to
Right,
that. What's that place? That Ero's place, whatever. We'll get one of those fucking goat sandwiches, dude. Love it. Dude, let's go, dude.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so my baby girl on Friday is leaving to.
It's Friday.
The United Kingdom. So she's
hi, baby girl.
United Kingdom for 6 months. So.
Whoa, she's gonna come back. You're gonna come back speaking with an accent.
She already knows how. Watch this.
Remember. Mind the gap. You'll know what that means when you get there. That's when you're on the subway. Mind the gap.
Just don't come back with one of those chub chugglers, dude.
And look right. Look right. When you walk off the sidewalk, you look right. Here we look left. You got to look right because the cars come the opposite way. And they actually have it painted everywhere for all the tourists. They say to look right, look right.
Yeah. Okay.
And no drinking any beer.
I'm so jealous, dude. I want to go.
Hold on, you guys got to hear this. Hold on a second.
It's kind of like this. I'll drink it for a while.
Yeah.
You should do that when you're there and see if anybody catches you.
Anybody can talk English. I can talk English.
No, she's actually.
You know what I'm talking about, eh? Huh? Like Brad Pitt, do like a piker. All right, we out.
Okay.
Let's go, man. I gotta go.
Right.
I'm hungry.
We're
Love you
All
guys.
right, baby
Be
girl.
safe, baby
Have
Sherry.
a safe trip, Sherry.
Hey, get us out of here, bro. Call us.
All right, man. Thanks. We were a little bit unorthodox and all over the place today, but we were just
Okay.
having some fun. So for all of us at Enter the Ring Live, Mighty Mike.
AJ Rage.
and Eric the Red.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you guys next time.
We'll probably see you guys Sunday, hopefully from Bakersfield.
Bakersfield, California.